Hello, good evening, and welcome to your program, info.com, coming from the studios of Lagos Television, Ikeja. My name is Biyi Fashoyin, and this week is interesting. Last week we had people coming, calling us from far and wide and sending us text messages saying they enjoyed that bit about blogging. Well, this week we're not going to be doing anything about blogging, but there's something that I've noticed, and that's the fact that maybe not just by the indexes of Nigeria, the girl child is not as involved as their male counterparts in ICT. What are the problems that could have warranted all of this? And that's what we're taking a look at today as our first segment. And on the set, I would have with me Nkem Begho, who is MD CEO of FutureSoft Limited Nigeria. She will be my guest on this program. On the second segment, I did say that part of what the values we will be delivering to people will be to engage you, make you better, make you a better entrepreneur. And so I want to take a look at ICT and building your entrepreneurial skill using ICT. And don't forget, Fola Daniel, my friend, the blogger, he's in the house. He will join Nkem in the second segment. And together, we'll take a look at what to watch out for, how to become an entrepreneur, how to make your business better, how to circumvent the traditional vicissitudes and use what you have today as modern technology, ICT, and be the best in your business. This and many more will be what we'll be focusing on today on your program, info.com. Don't forget, you have nowhere to go but where you are at the moment. Call your friends, call your neighbors, and we'll be right back after this time out. Hello, you're welcome back to the studios of Lagos Television, Ikeja. And my guest today is Nkem Begho. Nkem, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, first I'd like to find out from you. Did you make up your mind, and at what stage did you make up your mind, and how did you get into tilting towards what you ended up with?
Okay, so everybody who knows my dad, Mr. Chris Waje, knows that he is in love with technology, and that reflects not only in his professional life but also in his personal life. So he made sure that from a very young age, so my first computer, I had it when I was 3 years old.
3?
Yes, and it's something that was very, very important to him, and he used to always say, no, go on the computer and just play with it, learn things, so he made sure that we were exposed to technology at a very young age. He only has girls, so, to him it was like, okay, I don't care whether you're a boy or a girl, you have to learn this because you're inside this house, right? So all of us had to embrace technology, and, so it was something that was always there. So I never really questioned it. I never really thought about it in terms of, oh, it's a boy thing, or, I should not have this, or I should have this. It was always there. So it was never something that I really looked at and said, oh, it's something special. No, it's something that I was used to, I was accustomed to, and I learned it, and I loved it as well, And, I mean, my first computer, it was still a DOS system. You had to know command line to, really operate it properly. So when you have that from a very young age, you start, seeing the evolution of technology, to, proper operating systems, lots of different software, and, when they started digitalizing, books, and, you have educative software that our mom used to buy for us, after a while. So it was really seeing that evolution that also, kind of pulled me in more, I think, because it suddenly became useful. So I got Photoshop, and I used to, Photoshop pictures of my friends, and, I'll send it to them with my first email account, and all those things were, they were exciting, and we were all, I mean, in Nigeria, there were only very few people who had internet at the time, so because my dad was technology crazy, he also made sure that we had internet, when it came out, and it was dial-up, it was still over our NITEL line, I mean, this is when I talk sometimes, a lot of young people, they look and they're like, what does she mean, dial-up? What does that even mean?
There was this mentality of, girls who are into engineering line or whatever, not being cool. They're always in jeans, they're always looking like guys, they're always looking like... Could that have driven most of those girls away? I mean, could that be a factor?
Yeah, definitely. So I think that, a lot of women that are in, male-dominated industries, they tend to, you know, try and maybe fit in, or that's just how they are in general, and maybe that's also why they find it easier. But for me, I don't see that as a barrier. I think that it's something you can always be whoever you are. Whether you stick out like a sore thumb or not, it doesn't matter. As long as you're confident enough, and you really like what you're doing. And I think that's really what should be the driving factor of going into any kind of profession. So ICT now, a lot of people are like, oh wow, there's a lot of money, and Nigeria is really coming up in technology, so we have to rush into that field. But if you don't have the passion for it, why are you rushing into that field, right? So, but in order to even identify that passion, it's very, very important that parents make sure that boys and girls have contact with technology very, very early.
Let me just stop you there. There's something that, came to my mind. That's the fact that people want to follow some patterns. They want to look at a role model. Not many women in technology. How do we bridge that gap so that more girls will be involved in technology?
I mean, that's a global problem. Even if you look at Silicon Valley, there are not that many women at the top, especially. I mean, the few that come to mind, Sheryl Sandberg, Melissa Meyer of Yahoo. And what those women do is that they have positioned themselves in a way that they talk to a lot of young girls to make sure that they go into technology fields, and they explain to them, the pros and cons of being a woman in technology, because it's in a male-dominated industry, being one of the only women is always going to be hard. Because people will look at you and say, oh, she's just a pretty face, that's why she gets jobs, or maybe she doesn't know what she's really doing, or, she just has connections and that's why she's in the industry. But I think that even in Nigeria, the women who are in the industry have proven that women can be in the industry, that they can be successful. I mean, the likes of Florence Seriki, Funke Okpeke, and also the MD of Digital Jewels. Those are women that I look up to, and I find very inspiring, because they don't care whether, there are 10 men and only them, but they will still say what they need to say, and they will still do what they need to do, and they've grown their businesses, and they've made sure that their businesses have evolved. One of the things that I think is very important, for us women in the technology industry in Nigeria, is to make sure that we are involved in either mentoring girls or...
Aha, that's where I actually was going, that, could mentoring also not play an active role? And do you mentor girls?
Yes, so mentoring is a very, very important thing. So even when I was in university and I was studying, there was a mentoring group that I was part of, and we used to go to secondary schools and talk to girls there. And it was, these girls in the secondary school, they were maybe like 3 years our junior. So they were almost ready to go to university, and they were about to make up their minds of what they wanted to study. And we went in there to basically talk to them and explain to them, what it looks like in university, studying a course that is also male-dominated, and how hard it is, how easy it is, what your advantages are, what your disadvantages are, but I think it all boils down to, being strong in character. In Nigeria, there's a fantastic program called WTech Girls ICT Camp, which Oreshomolu does, yes. And so I give the career talk there. I've done it now, I think, 5 years consecutively. And it's something that I love doing. It's, very, very inspiring.
Is there a feedback? Do you follow up on this?
Yes, so she basically has a network of all the alumni, and a lot of them have actually gone on to study technology-related courses, or they have been able to use technology in whatever other field they want to, pursue. And for me, it's not really, you don't need to be a programmer. You don't need to be a developer. There are a lot of, job roles that are being created now that you require some technology skills, but you don't need to be technical, right? So for example, we have project managers at Futuresoft. To be honest, I don't care what you've studied to be this person, as long as you understand to pay attention to detail, you can talk to a client, and you are willing to learn the basics of the technology, and you can understand the technology terms and understand the vision of the client, translate it to the developers, and basically be that middle person between the developer.
Between the techie and the client.
Now, you still work in a tech company, right, when you're doing that, but you're not a techie per se. You have, you basically liaise with the techies, you liaise with the customers, and you make sure that that vision comes to life and that, timelines are met and things like that. But it still requires technical understanding and technical skills. So you don't necessarily need to have studied computer science, but you need to still understand how the internet works, what a website is, what the elements of the website are, and things like that. A lot of these things you can learn on the job, so it's not necessary that you study a technology-related course. It obviously helps because then it's easier for you to actually, rise to the top quicker in your job.
As a matter of fact, that's the word, rise to the top quickly. Now, I'm about to round up this segment. At the end of the day, you rose to the top. You are now a CEO of a company. Are there peculiar challenges that you have to deal with as a lady running a company, both internally and maybe externally? Do you have harassment? Do you have people thinking, oh, who is she? She's just a girl, we're in Africa. Do you have such things?
Yeah, that will come, I think, just in general in Africa. That's, something that you're going to encounter. So I have a male business partner, and, we go to meetings sometimes and people think I'm his PA just because I like taking notes.
Okay, and he's your PA?
No, he's not my PA. He's my business partner.
Oh, your business partner.
Yes,
okay.
So we're on the same level.
Okay.
We just have different roles, and when we go for presentations together, and for example, he's in charge of our e-learning arm. So when he talks about e-learning and I'm there taking notes, trying to find out what the client really wants, they think, oh, that's the PA. And then he tells them, they're like, okay, so how much is it going to cost? They say, oh, you need to talk to her because she's the MD. And then they're like, what? No, we can't even believe that, So for me, it's something that I've learned to deal with. I laugh about it. I find it hilarious and I also use it as my advantage, because if you underestimate me, it means I already have an advantage over you, because you've already put me somewhere inside, a box, and I'm not actually in that box.
Thank you very, very much. You're not going anywhere, because I would have to ask the gentleman to join you later on in the second segment, where we'll take a look at the challenges of being an entrepreneur within the ICT space. Join us at that time. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back after that very, very good interview with Nkem Begho and Fola Daniel, the blogger,
Thank you.
In-house analyst.
Thank you.
I didn't get that correctly. I didn't hear that. Let me come to you, Nkem. What you do at Futuresoft, I'm intrigued. The fact that you run this company. What do you do, on a daily basis?
Okay, so Futuresoft is focused on 3 focus areas: online solutions, e-learning, and IT security. And we're 3 directors in the company, so each director has their own focus area. So mine is online solutions. Focus at the moment is business development. So I'm usually in meetings most of the day with potential clients, with existing clients, with our developers, with our project managers, basically just making sure that entire department.
You don't get to do any technical job?
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Well, what were you doing? Before you became the big woman?
I was basically doing everything myself. So I was writing code, I was doing quality control, I was doing the project management itself. I was also still doing the business development and running around. But at some point, you have to grow. At some point, one person is not enough to handle all of those things. And I quickly realized that and started building a solid team, that can, for the most part, work independently and, you know, doesn't require me to baby them and, follow each step that they're doing. And basically, I review, project reports, I review the development reports, I make sure that the clients are happy. So I kind of do more of overseeing that everything is, being run the way that I want it to be run. We use a lot of templates, so when it comes to communication, all our communication that goes out is uniform. It always sounds like I've written all the emails, even though I haven't, because we use templates and we have our services are usually, we have packages for everything.
Okay.
So it's very, very easy.
So you are more or less into everything. You used to be everything.
Yes.
And now you're a big woman.
No.
That takes me to... Oh, you're not big yet, eh?
Not yet,
okay.
not yet.
Now, that takes me to why we're here today. Fola, what does it take for anyone to become an entrepreneur using ICT?
If I want to go into a business now, the first thing I'll be considering is probably doing social media campaigns, because everybody keeps telling me, we see you online a lot. You must be living on the internet. And I tell them, I'm barely on the internet. But then there's a way I work around it such that you think I'm on the internet all the time.
Tell us.
Now, there are applications, there are social networks, there is Hootsuite that allows you to schedule most of your posts. There is the email marketing. On email marketing, you have First Contact, you have MailChimp, you have Mad Mini that you can use for email marketing. So design a promotional email, put your pictures, put images, or put hyperlinks so that when people click, it takes them back to your blog or to your informational site. So all these things can be scheduled. And when people get them, they think that you just sent them, whereas you might be sleeping when it went off. Another thing is my email marketing platform is linked to my blog. So what it does is every week, it automatically streams all my past posts. So you can see all the posts in just one email, and you can click on which one you want to read. So the first thing is, what's your knowledge base? Where is it tilted towards? You need to now think about building around a business around your knowledge base. If you don't have it yet, you may want to spend more time learning in that particular area. Do you want to create applications? Do you want to do just social media? Do you want to be writing codes? Do you want to just be the person marketing? Or let me put it in two words, the techie or the end user. So you can be in business as the end user, or you can be in the business as the techie. What's the difference? The techie is the one who does the real work, but the end user just probably markets what already exists or leverages on what already exists. So if you're not a techie, don't just think about doing the business as a techie. Just think about doing the business as somebody who is meeting the needs of end users.
Okay. You do online marketing, online security. What advantage does ICT give to an entrepreneur that is absent from the traditional entrepreneur, the guy that wants to look for money, wants to look for everything physically before he starts his business? What's the advantage?
Okay, so I think the main advantage is that you can automate processes, as he's already said. You basically become more efficient by doing that. It helps you to manage information. Nowadays, we have teams that are working in different locations. We need to share information. We need to send files. We need to send pictures. So, for example, I have a client and they sell furniture. All their pictures are on their website, cataloged by name, and so when they have a call and they say, oh, we want a sofa, okay, go to our website, look at the sofas, tell us which one you want, then we can place your order. Then you just need to come in and choose the fabric that you want, or if you even see the fabric that you want on the site, we'll just produce it for you, right? So it just makes communication much easier, because that person doesn't need to leave their office. They can immediately decide, I've either seen what I like or I haven't seen what I like, and then make a decision on whether they want to buy or not, right? And they can reach that person without even that interaction of a phone call. If they're on social media, for example, and the person sees them on social media, or if they have the person's email address on their email marketing campaign, and they send an email where there are beautiful pictures and, you know, some text to complement it, and the person's like, wow, this is amazing, you know, they can either forward it, they can look at it, and that's how, you know, you get a much wider reach with your brand than what you would normally get. Exactly. So you don't, a lot of people tell me, oh, you know, do you think we should advertise in the newspapers? And I said, if you have the money, sure, go ahead, but you're a small business. You know, a full page in a newspaper is 600,000. If you're going to, if you have that money, use it and spread it over a couple of months and, you know, be visible online, because your target audience is also online. Unless you're saying my target audience only reads the newspaper and that's why I need to be in the papers. So I think the key thing is to understand who's your target audience, where are they, how do you reach them, you know. So some clients might need to go on Instagram. Some clients should not go on Instagram because they don't actually have anything exciting to share because of what their nature of the business is. So I think in terms of you know, using technology, it's to understand your business, to understand what are the technology tools that I can integrate into my business? How can I make my processes more seamless, easier, error-free as well? You know, a lot of the time we have a lot of errors, you know, that come into our solutions or whatever we're selling just because it's being done manually. And the person who, you know, is in charge of it didn't sleep. That's why they're tired, they're typing some wrong things. But if it's automated...
You can do things by itself seamlessly.
Exactly. You know.
Okay, I'm going to come to you, Fola. How do you trust this automation, especially if it could be hijacked by cyber criminals?
Okay, first let me summarize what you said in 3 words on how the social media helps the business of the startup. I'll say speed, perception, cost. Speed, meaning that you can get to more people faster. Perception, nobody knows you're small. It's about what kind of brand did you put up there. Then cost. Do you know that what 600,000 for the full page newspaper will achieve, on social media I can do with just 2,000 naira?
But hold on there. While you're still going to answer the question, because I was going to take out, but good that you did that. Now, she talked about the fact that we're talking about target audience.
Yeah.
Are we ripe as a people? Nigeria, for example. Because I found out that basically the youths maybe could be your audience on the social media space. And if you're going to reach out to people nationwide...
Okay, you're saying can we target people on social media?
Yes.
It's possible to target people on social media, especially if you're using...
And get the same effects that you want to achieve using the traditional...
you can get more, or you can get better results. And I'll tell you why. For instance, Facebook does its statistics in such a way that they give you the demographic, and then you now choose which is your target. Are you looking for people in Nigeria? Then you can streamline. Are you looking for people between the ages of 18 and 25? Are you looking for people between the ages of 25 and 40? You know, you can specify. Then you can also specify the location. And you can do that on social media. I mean, you can do that on in print. You can even do that on television. But on social media, you can tell exactly who saw the commercial. And apart from that, it has a longer staying power. Whatever I posted yesterday can come up 2 weeks' time if people are still talking about it, meaning it's trending. So long as it's trending, people keep talking about it, and it stays longer. But whatever you put on the print stays for 1 day, and your money is gone. But on social media, you can go back to it, you can share it again, or you can post the same thing over a couple of times. It costs you nothing. The most important thing is just to make sure that it trends. And so long as it trends, you get better results.
Okay. Still will take you guys on someday. Just that we're really going away. Time is not our friend. But Nkem, let me ask you this. Finally, in a sentence, what's the biggest problem that you could face as an entrepreneur using ICT?
Not knowing what you're doing with it. I think that's the biggest problem. So we have some clients and they're like, oh, we want to use this, and you ask them why, and they have no clue why. Somebody just told them, oh, this will be good for your business, but they haven't actually sat down to analyze the technology and understand what does it do and why do I need it for my business. So before you use any kind of technology for your business, not just because, oh, B's company is doing this, that's why I should do it. No, you need to analyze, who are you targeting? As he said, you can target different people. But for example, if you're selling, let's say, luxury products, chances are that your demographic is not on Facebook.
On Facebook, okay.
Because those people who are high net worth individuals, they hardly have time. They're definitely not going to spend their time, on social media, looking at the pictures and looking for brands.
So you need to analyze and do a proper understanding
Yes.
of the ICT terrain to become a very good entrepreneur.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow, thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen, for this. I hope I'll be able to get you back. For that, as I always say, I want to get you an Ore because I want to go back into looking for a proper way to, continue to follow the progresses made in mentoring, such that at the end of the day, we can say, well, in a particular time, statistically, we've been able to achieve this percentage of success, mentoring the girl child to become this. Okay? Thank you so very much, Nkem. Thank you very much for that. Thank you so very much for being part of this program. By God's grace, we'll see you next week, same time, same station. Good night.